Well, here we are. The round robin is going into the final few matches, and we're starting our best of 3 with Tomb of the Spider Queen, as we have Team Lopaka go up against Team Sadath. And well, before we go into this, I am going on a little bit of a rant because I've had it up to here. So we're starting actually this match now 20 minutes late, and this has been a theme for the last, I want to say, 3 weeks. And it is really starting to piss me off big time. So sorry if this throws a few people off that are just trying to watch this on YouTube, but it's actually starting to get extremely annoying that just across the board players in this tournament don't give a shit about when the games start, if they're on time, if they're wasting everybody's else time. It's actually getting crazy. It was funny on the first weekend. We still were chuckling a little bit on the second, but right now it's just ridiculous. So I think there needs to, at some point, really be a yellow card system or something for teams. Somebody suggested that if they're 10 minutes late, no matter what the reason, map picks, somebody oversleeps, whatever it is, they should get a cut to their prize money, and I absolutely agree. Cut 10% of their prize money, then either give the prize money to the bottom teams in the ranking, or give it to some charity. But obviously, at least here, these guys do not care one bit. And there needs to be some kind of rule adjustments if they are running another Captain's Clash, because, I mean, nobody cares if a team is like late once, twice. Happens. Life happens. But there's prize money on the line here. Other people are waiting too. If I am late as a caster, nobody cares either. Games continue, show must go on. So, like, seriously, the attitude of some people at this point is really getting to is getting to a level where I'm actually have no problems calling that out, even on a video like this here. So yeah, it's getting just crazy. But again, we got good games on our hands. We had fantastic games. I gotta say, a lot of the matches that we had so far in the tournament were a lot of fun. Right now we go up with Team Sadath and Lopaka. And those are 2 of the latecomers when it came to the round robin. So we have 6 teams in the round robin. The top 4 after the full thing is played out advance to the playoffs, and the bottom 4 drop out of the tournament. And Team Lopaka and Team Sadath, they actually played their matches relatively late. So we're not looking at a format in which every day one match day gets played out. It's just not how that currently works. So usually tournament organizers, ourselves included, are always trying to set it up so that teams have to invest the minimum amount of days, or at least not have to play every single day, just to make it a bit more convenient for them. And that's why Team Lopaka and Team Sadath, they started their own matches a bit late, resulting now in a situation in which Team Lopaka is 0-2, I believe. So they played 2 matches, lost both of them, and Team Sadath is 1-2. So I think 1-2. I think they're 1-2. So they are both currently just at the bottom of the standings, but still with all the potential to break out and make it into a playoff spot. But of course, there's a lot now hinging on this match in particular, because if Lopaka's team loses, then their chances of advancing to the playoffs are pretty much gone, and that would be a bit rough. The only teams that advanced so far are actually Team Disciple and Team Dino. They are already qualified. The other 4 teams, they are still fighting for survival here, meaning Team Hazorps, Team Sven, and the 2 teams that you see right here. So with Tomb of Spider Queen being our first map, we now have Jojo and Malfurion taken early on. And we got Hanzo for a bit of damage, and then over on the right side, Blaze Gul'dan. So already a lot of wave clear, actually, for Team Sadath. And they had some great games as well. I've actually been highlighting this quite a few times. They had a couple of matches where it just felt like every time they played, they went to the final map. And it was a bit bonkers to see how that played out for them. But right now, we'll see what they can do here. I was, by the way, wrong. Team Sadath is currently 1-3, not 1-2. So this is literally their last match. If they lose here, they're essentially out. So they need to win this one. And it's honestly a little bit surprising to see them in that spot, because I talked about it in the previous games that they played. They had insanely close matches. Their first games, which they lost both, were both 1-2 scores. And it was just incredible to see how close they came to winning those matches, but they just fell short on the final map. Now that we're going into this series, they will of course have to really step it up a little bit to make sure that they at least have another shot. Team Lopaka being 0-2 right now, they want to win this one as well, and they really need to. But we'll see which team is able to pull ahead here. We got a variant combo, so we're going to get a taunt. The Kel'Thas pick on the side of the blue team, also super interesting right now, with the combo of Chen on the side lane. and Sylvanas, the final pick here for Team Sadath on Tomb of the Spider Queen. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, game number 1 of the best of 3 series. The blue team on the left, map number 1, we got Death Knight on Malfurion, Ultralisk with Kel'Thas, dropping the Mana Addict on level 1 immediately. We got Hereth on Chen, Lopaka on Hanzo, and then Play on Johanna. As over on the right side, Team Sadath, 1 and 3 right now in their match score. Is starting things off with Taichessa on Ana. We got Sadath himself, the captain on Blaze. Masquerade with Varian. Rutsu on Sylvanas. And Nano is playing Pursuit of Flame with Gul'dan. And we are off to the races with Jojo going into Divine Fortress. So having the Gambit right here, which obviously boosts, especially early on, her max health by quite a bit. We'll see how much Play can hold on to that. Now, we've seen essentially every single talent on this map already. There's also one of the few where you regularly see Laws of Hope being taken as well. You can get a lot of globes and therefore take some of the pressure off your support too. But already the rotation happening between the mid and the top lane as usual. Best Chen skin! I like it! War Master Chen with a black and white tint, clearly the best. There has been a poll and we all decided that this is just the best skin and the best tint for Chen. It has been, I mean, again, this is like an objective poll, so it's just like a fact right now, and that's gonna stand for all eternity. It is just the coolest, and if you have eyes, then you see that, of course. But Sylvanas rotates down, we also see Hanzo make an approach here. Could technically try and go for those Siege Giants first and make a move there. But it will be a pretty interesting series for the two teams here. I gotta say that there's a lot of teams where I really thought they would not be able to do nearly as well as they then ended up doing. And some others where you just look at their lineup and you think, oh my god, these guys are going to crush it. Not only are they going to qualify for the playoffs, but they're also going to be able to go far and maybe even, you know, win the tournament or get to the grand final. And in some of those instances, I mean, we couldn't have been more wrong. If I would have asked anybody who they think are taking the #1 spot in the round robin, pretty much nobody or very few people would have named Disciples' team. Most people would have gone with maybe the team of Hazu, maybe Dinu's team, but Disciple being #1 here, that was quite a surprise and a very welcome one at that. So they've been shaking things up a ton. And these two that we're seeing right now, if you just look at the players that are playing on each team, that they are both struggling for survival, is one of those things where I think most people would have said like, yeah, no, they're going to be fine, they're going to be able to qualify. You look over to the red team, for example, Masquerade, Rutsu, Nano, I mean, the names alone right there, already quality. But they are struggling, and they're struggling a lot. If the red team doesn't win it here, they are out of the tournament. If you go 1 and 4 in the round robin, then you are definitely toast. So the aggression happening already in the middle, as we see Play being pushed back a bit. Keep in mind, he has his Gambit quest on level 1, so you really want to avoid dying. I mean, you want to do that either way, but in this case, if you start falling, then your hit point pool gets reduced quite significantly. And there it is, 5% are already gone, so down to a 20% advantage. The counter kills, though, that are happening, nice! They get the double kill here. Okay, so a 1-for-2 trade in favor of Team Lopaka for the blue team. Definitely a good little move. And that allows them to add a bit more pressure. They have a leading experience. They could now also secure themselves a few more gems. And maybe they can also get their first full turn-in. And that's indeed the case. So blue team has the web weavers and will push them through the lane. If they can now, well, break through. Sylvanas is obviously going to try and stop them. There's a lot of wave clear with her and with Gul'dan. If the blue team can somehow control those two, they should be able to get a lot of damage done here. I mean, in an ideal world, if you kill Sylvanas here, so close. So close. That would have been pretty incredible. If they pull that off, that would be huge. We have a Steed Charge again on level 7. We've seen this a few times from Play, you know. And Burn Flesh for Ultralisk. Also interesting to see Ultralisk on a mage here. I mean, generally speaking, we've seen Ultralisk on mages, but if you think about Kel'Thas, he's not really a hero that you would automatically associate with the normal pattern that we're seeing from Ultralisk, who's more used to play assassins that are a little bit more mobile. And can easily jump in and have a massive impact there. So with this, positioning super important, completing the quest, another thing that will add to your survivability. The web weavers, not really a whole lot of impact if you ask me. Forts have taken no damage. Most of the walls are still standing. As we have a quick and technical pause over here from Lopaka. So it seems like the blue team is having some issues. I'm not quite sure if you have an actual disconnect or if it's just a bit of a delay caused by something else. Whatever the reason, the blue team hasn't really gotten anything out of the turn-in. We now have 45 gems in the hands of the red team. So an opportunity for Team Sadath to get close to their own turn-in and their own set of web weavers. They lost a lot when they lost those two heroes. They lost a fair amount of gems here. The blue team winning that battle allowed them to maintain all of theirs. And now Heroth at the bottom of the map is getting attacked here. Chen needs to be careful, but they're not engaging back onto the point to try and take those siege giants. So they just let that slide. Good attack against Sylvanas, but Rutsu is able to get out. They're trying to turn the fight on Jojo, but also nice damage output once again from Khaldor, as Ultralisk is trying to control the choke point near the gate. He's sitting at 7,600 damage currently. Not really too insane, but it's obviously the siege damage that is most important at this point in time for him. He's been dealing a lot with the minion waves for the team, as Hanzo is the one that accumulates the damage against heroes. But the turn-in attempt is now happening. The red team is trying to get a bit of an edge here before the blue team hits level 10. Play also needs to be mega careful now. With the Gambit quest, he is now down to 20% additional HP on the max HP. Died already once. Only one actually that has fallen on the side of the blue team. But here comes the taunt. They go for Chen, but he just shrugs it off. He doesn't really care too much. Level 10 soon going to be available for the blue team. So they're going to have that any moment now. Whereas down at the bottom of the map, yeah, Blaze is back to business with the heroic abilities now in. We get also Phoenix from Khaldor. Camps are again being targeted. Blessed Shield for Jojo, I would assume. I guess against Ana you can play Falling Sword, but it's not something that we see all that often anymore. We get an arrow. And Jojo holding back her ult for that long gave me some hope that we see some actual Falling Sword action, but it's not the case. So it's just your typical Blessed Shield that we're getting here. Both teams now with level 10 abilities. And still the interrupts against Nano, as obviously we have also the infusion right now with the boost. I mean, the name is literally in the talent name here. You already know who's going to get boosted throughout the game whenever they're going for the big team fight. Still kind of funny to me that the red team is struggling this hard to get any kind of noticeable turn-in. They've delivered 43 gems, but they don't have web weavers yet. Another turn-in at the bottom of the map, but they're still one gem short. Now, to be fair, the blue team is not turning in their gems either. And they are holding on to 47. They have enough for a full turn-in. At least Ultralisk should try and deliver. And he attempts to do that together with Play here, but they want the hit! And they get some neat damage onto Varian. They're still able to escape. Nobody turned in so far. Down at the bottom, Lopaka is delivering the gems that he's been holding. And they're now trying at the top turn spot once again to get Web Weaver Wave number 2 in with a kill on Sylvanas. That would go a long way to make that happen. And Rutsu, yeah, apparently misjudged the situation a little bit or fat-fingered some buttons. But that was Sylvanas essentially committing suicide. Honorable Subaru by Sylvanas. And now Gul'dan is gone as well as the blue team goes for the next turn-in. But something definitely went wrong there on the side of Play. Apparently they tried to engage. I have to assume that he pressed the wrong button there. But either way, that's Sylvanas down, that's Gul'dan down. And that brings us to another Web Weaver wave for the blue team as they're hoping to have a bit more impact this time. And yeah, maybe even take down a fort. The big risk is, of course, that later on, when the red team finally gets their turn-ins, they could use Sylvanas to increase the damage just by a lot. But here comes the attack against Masquerade, against the Rutsu as well. Root on the ground, Gravity Lapse. They want Varian, but instead it's a taunt on Jojo. And Play is dead. That's the second Gambit stack lost on the level 1 talent on the Divine Fortress. And with the help of Sylvanas and Nano, the first Web Weaver is easily burned down as they're now moving towards the top to try and pull it off here as well. Pressure at the bottom of the map is still mounting up. Serath is trying to keep them at bay for as long as possible to allow the rest of the team a rotation towards the bottom of the map. But it seems like the blue team really wants to at least get something out of that objective. So they're going to destroy the fort at the bot lane. So the fort at the top has taken 50% damage. Down at the bottom of the map, it gets fully destroyed. Red team still with gems that they can now hand in and maybe get a turn in for themselves. We have them with nearly enough gems for a double turn-in. They're not quite there yet, but always assuming that they're going to get another turn-in. They should be able to pick up the remaining ones if they want to go for 2 in a row. And it should really help them. I mean, despite the fact that we had 2 objectives... Oh, Chen! And he is still alive somehow. And finally explodes. Chen is gone. So is Sylvanas. Oh my god, somebody got ragdolled here. Ends up in a wall as well. But, yeah, they're trying to go for Malfurion. And with a Horrify towards the end of the battle, he is gone too. 5 kills to 4. The red team with a little bit of momentum finally. And they honestly need it. So now they get the Web Weavers. And with the help of Sylvanas, once that she's back on the map, they should be able to do some significant damage here. That bottom lane is still pushing, but the Web Weavers alone are already going to be able to push that back. We now have 31,000 damage for Hanzo, and we have 37,000 for Gul'dan. So, with Sylvanas moving in, this is a bit of a moment of truth. Let's see how much damage Team Serath can do. They are basically on even experience with the blue team, but they have... This is their first turn. They had to fight off 2 turn-ins, 2 set of Web Weavers, and now they have their first one finally. And let's see how much they can do with this. So they are in the middle right now with Sylvanas. I'm honestly not quite sure why, because those Web Weavers are not going to do anything. That one is already basically destroyed. They should get more value with Sylvanas pushing either at the top or the bottom, where she's headed right now. But they definitely need to start to disable this a bit. So from the looks of it, their first turn-in is not going to do too much either. Nano gets attacked. 15.5, bit of experience lead now even for the red team. So they get at least 4 damage in, but all in all, I have to say, bit of a disappointing push. Sylvanas joined the fight slightly late, but you would have expected her to do a bit better here. Masquerade now with 44 gems, should try and turn in. We have Serath turning in first, and now that they're fully aware what Masquerade is doing, they're gonna keep interrupting him as much as they can. 16 talents are kicking in a little bit faster for Lopaka and his team. Ultralis is obviously guarding the top turn-in spot as well. We got the Moonlit Harmony, we got the Holy Renewal right now, and with 16 being available for Team Serath, they're now picking up, amongst other things, Will of the Forsaken for Sylv. Once again, the attack by Play needs to be careful. Again, down to 3 Gambit stacks on his level 1. There's the Keck against Gul'dan. Horrify being used. And they kill Hanzo, but Gul'dan dies as well. And Sylvanas jumping in deep. Gets the Gravity Lapse, and that's a kill. Nicely done by Ultralisk in particular. Immediately reacting as Sylvanas moved in for damage and a potential kill. And now the chase is on as the blue team is trying to take out a few more heroes. But it seems like Hirath is the one that is in trouble. Is barely able to make it out of the fight with a bit of help of Malfurion. But the battle isn't over, and Kel'Thas is the next one to fall. So we have that front line of the red team doing absolute work here. 7 seconds for another taunt to be ready. And Varian jumps in, slows him down a bit. But has to be really careful that he doesn't go too deep, because he's still holding on to 46 gems. So you need to be a bit careful with this one. But they're still doing alright. It's a bit of a weird game. 13 minutes in, and we have both of the teams on level 16. We've seen 3 turn-ins so far. Only a single fort has been destroyed. And yeah, it's a bit of a wild one. Damage output right now, Sylvanas at 26,000. Sylvanas is actually in regards to her damage behind Blaze and behind Varian. And the blue team gets another Web Weaver wave. So blue team is moving in with Web Weaver wave number 3. Yeah, Sylvanas is trying to get some extra pressure against that fort. Rutsu may be a bit too aggressive here with his positioning. He's already struggled throughout the game and has died 3 times now in total. But this is really one of those moments where you would assume that Team Lopaka has finally got some actual value out of this, right? They got to. Take another fort down, ideally both, and then see if you can spiral this a little bit farther forward and get a bit more done here. Herath is getting attacked now as well. Once again, the focus on Varian, who holds 50 gems. If he goes down and they lose those gems, that would be a disaster. They already lost the fort at the top, and now they're pushing towards the middle, where they should be able to take the next one out too. Blaze is at the bottom of the map and is fully visible to the blue team, so they know that there's only going to be a moderate defense here. But Herath is getting attacked. There's the fort. They are still holding on to that. I think the most damage is actually done by the Web Weavers at the top, as they're starting to break through the keep wall. Over here in the middle, we now have 55 gems for Masquerade. He wants the secret mount, clearly. Masquerade is making a play for the secret mount, and now they're making a play for play. Can they take her down again? Is Jojo going to die once more? And the answer is no, at least not now. Good save from Death Knight as well with Malfurion. Sylvanas defended at the top. Nano boost earlier being used on Nano. And the next turn an attempt for Masquerade, who gets sniffed out and of course interrupted once again. But he's going to keep applying pressure to force the red team, or sorry, the blue team, into a big of an awkward spot here. The taunt is in, and that is Chen in trouble. But he saves himself for now. Can he survive? And the answer is yes. Has to keck out though. So the pressure is indeed there. Another nice play from Ultralisk, but oh, Anna nearly got Hanzo'd. But Ultralisk went out deep for that attempt to take Anna down, and now has to pay the price. Is dropped, and Masquerade finally turns some of the gems that he's been holding in. So 7 kills to 7, a leading experience now for Team Setup, and the red team with a chance to take some forts out as they get their second set of Web Weavers. But the attack is here, and Anna is dead. Fat Illidan jumped in together with Johanna, and then they were able to get the kill. So now the defense is going to be a bit easier. It's a 4 versus 4 for now though, because Kalthas isn't back up on the map either. Down for another 20 seconds before we are going to see him again. With Sylvanas' help, they should at least at the bottom of the map be able to take that fort out though. Okay, can they also get a kill? They're trying, but Chen is already kegging out. The arrow comes in and hits Sylvanas, but they're not going to be too worried about that. Hanzo's defending the top. Web Weaver's still active in the middle. At the bottom of the map, they're of course going to get that fort. So that's the first major structure destroyed. And they have level 20. They got level 20 as well. We're now 16 minutes into the game. Only 3 forts in total have been destroyed. Not a whole lot when you think about it. But they should have another turn-in available. And indeed they do. Red team with another chance to turn in. And they should immediately try to deliver the gems that they have. But the blue team is of course going to try and guard that now that they have their own level 20. We got the Lunar Shower. And the Flamethrower over here. Okay, and that is 36 gems delivered by Serath alone. Gonna be very happy about that. And with Masquerade now being guarded as well, they turn in once more. But they really need to make those Web Weavers work this time. Every time so far that they turned in, a second later they lost one of their heroes. And now maybe they can do something. But we have Sylvanas in their hands, so they should be able to burn not only minion waves and mercenaries down, but also get a much easier hit on structures. Fort in the... I mean, if they don't kill all of the forts right now, then I don't really know what's going on here. Just keep pushing that a little bit and leverage Sylvanas, and you should be totally fine. Let's not forget that they have Masquerade on Varian, so they have a kill combo. They're trying once again with a quick taunt here. Nano could follow that up with a Horrify if he sees an opportunity. Phoenix is out, and the Web Weaver in the middle is getting very heavily attacked. And destroyed. There should be some kind of like ability or whatever where you can actually heal the objective. Some healer, we should have a character in the game that has a talent or whatnot where you can heal Web Weavers, where you can heal, let's say, Dragon Knights, something like that. You would have to be careful to tune the numbers properly so that you don't make it too OP, but just as a concept, I actually think that would be pretty fun. Could be a really interesting one if you just keep heal Siege Giants, for example. You could pull off some nasty shenanigans with that, but yeah, I would have to make sure that it's not too OP, but just from a principle, I think the idea could be quite nice. So 1-4 taken out, but this is a really weird game. We're 18 minutes in and keeps haven't even been touched yet. So on level 20, and they are just... they're basically just negating each other from the looks of it here. Yeah! Sylvanas! Damn! Somebody just got chunked. Sylvanas disappears, They get a kill on Malfurion to try and turn this around, and they might even get a little bit more, but Varian is way too deep. The gravity lapse missed him though, and Ana gets those heals in, but it's not over yet. They still go for Masquerade, and he finally falls. Play dies as well. It's the counter kills again, all over the place. The battle, the fights, they are just killing each other wherever they stand right now, and it is just brutal. I mean, damn. So in this case, Varian falling, then they lose Jojo, which removes, of course, some of the max HP that she has. 2 stacks left on the Gambit on level 1. And then afterwards, Ana gets destroyed as well, which now results in 11 kills for the blue team and 9 for their opponents, for Team Sadath. And, well, at this point, it's time for the first boss. 20 minutes in. Now, we're looking at Mana Addict over here. And apparently, the blue team is not going to get this one that easily. There's a big attack on Sadath, though. And can they get a hit? Nope. Arrow misses completely, but they get Gul'dan. Boss is about to leash. They're still able to do a bit here. Rutsu, big attack. Gets the hit. This time the aggression finally paying off for Sylvanas. No counter pressure. And with the kill on Kel'Thas, not only did they prevent the boss from being claimed, but they also put themselves in a bit of an advantageous position for a short time. We have 4 versus 4 on the map as 2 of the mages are gone. More pressure in the middle of the map too, as the fort gets nearly taken out. But Sylvanas with some pretty aggressive moves once again. And a lot of the plays that we've seen from Rutsu have kind of backfired a bit. Especially since when Rutsu was trying to make a move for Kel'Thas, Ultralisk oftentimes was just waiting for him to engage and then greeted him with a quick gravity lapse and the follow-up afterwards. But right now, some of those plays are really paying off. We got 80,000 damage for Gul'dan. Sylvanas with 46,000, still trailing behind Blaze and Varian. Varian is at 68k, which is huge. That puts him into the number 3 spot on damage in the game. But with the fort now gone, it's actually kind of funny because only the red team still has a fort standing in the middle. Down at the bottom of the map, we have Siege Giants and Catapult pushing. I mean, this has been back and forth ever since the beginning of the game. We have enough gems now for a turn-in on the side of the blue team. It's been a while since they had their web weavers on the map. So now that we're 21 minutes in, they are trying to deliver on that turn-in and make that happen. We'll see if they can actually pull it off. But right now, yeah, again, the engage from Varian. 5 versus 5 on the map, and everybody is looking for a good angle. There's the Horrify on the Panda. I'm not really all that happy with them trying to go for Chen the entire time. From all of the heroes on the blue team, he seems to be the one that has the most survivability right now. Especially him also using his ult. But yeah, wild one. 53 stacks for Kel'Thas. He's not going to run into mana problems anytime soon. So what we're seeing instead is them trying to set a trap at the boss at the top. And Jojo's already coming in. Another taunt. Here comes the Wailing Arrow. They're trying to follow up on Chen. Good damage, but just not enough. And the arrow that came from the bottom and hit them, stunned them out, slowed them even further. 24 gems in the hands of Team Sadath, so they could try and get their turn in. But here comes the damage through the middle as they're taking the mercenary camp of the blue team out. And, well, we still have those gems on the side of Team Lopaka as they could try and get their own web weavers. How much? I haven't even checked that yet. So, just on the roll, we have Chen 146,000 damage tanked. Yeah, that sounds about right. So, he definitely tanked the most damage out of all of the heroes in the game so far. Nice use from Sylvanas here with the Will of the Forsaken to dodge out on Chen's attempt to isolate her. But Chen has been all over the place the entire game and has really soaked it up. And him as a side laner, that is quite impressive as well. But once again, they're trying to push them back. Let's see if we're going to get the next taunt with a jet propulsion follow-up. Already the focus on Blaze. He doesn't have the bunker for another 10 seconds. He needs to be careful. There's no panic button available for him right now. Kel'Thas with 200,000 siege damage now. There's the stun, the Horrify, and in the backline, Ana gets attacked and killed. Nice damage once more, specifically from Ultralisk here. But of course, it's Hanzo who starts chipping in more and more and more. They go for Sadath. Blaze is gone. And this could just be where the elastic just breaks. Yep, they're putting Nano into a corner. Literally a one-man block on Nano in the corner, and he dies. The fort is gone too. Sylvanas is on the run and gets murdered by Hanzo. That's 4 heroes down. They can go for the turn-in, but they want to go straight for the core. Honestly, I would love for at least Lopaka to go and get the turn-in just to be on the safe side. I don't think they have to rush it this hard. They will win the game one way or another, I assume, at this point. But making it a bit safer might have been a good choice. I don't know if they need to. The problem is always if somehow there's a miraculous defense now happening, that would be a problem because they would lose their gems. But this was exactly the play that they needed. Team Lopaka with the big moves here. Ana is the only one that is back, and that pew 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 is not going to help them too much. There's already Chen just running around the core. They're pretty secure, and they believe that they're going to win this one, and for good reason. 17 kills to 10, and this is the lead for Team Lopaka against Team Sadath in the best of 3 series. GG, well played. We're going to head in game number 2 in a second. Guys, if you enjoy the content, if you like the coverage here, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. It really helps to spread the videos to people that were interested in Heroes of the Storm in the past and might rejoin the game. So spread the love a little bit, help to promote the games here, like and subscribe, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the series. The red team is down 1 game, and they are getting closer and closer to being eliminated from the tournament, as Team Lopaka has taken the lead now. As we're going for Battlefield of Eternity, we've also had a player swap. So I'm not 100% certain what exactly happened there, but Rutsu played on Sylvanas in game number 1, and he initially joined the lobby, and then left it, and Gia came in to swap him out. So now the red team is playing the second map with Gia, apparently. I'm not 100% certain what's exactly what's going on there. You could argue that Rutsu was maybe a little bit too aggressive in game number 1. Made some very aggressive plays. Maybe that was part of the reason he died a few times. Maybe he didn't really feel too well today or is a bit off and they decided to swap him out. I have no clue. There was no info. All I can tell you is that there was indeed a player swap. Gia is now in, Rutsu is out for this one from the looks of it, as we are heading into game number 2. So, a quick note, as usual, there are no draft restrictions for this tournament, so absolutely nothing here. And with that, we now have Chromie banned out, Chen gets banned. I mean, after the performance that we've seen in game number 1 with Chen, they decided that it's time to get rid of him. I'm not blaming them. He just ate damage. And that was tanking everything that he could throw his way. So apparently they're done with that now. We have Maiev banned out too. But it is indeed a pretty peculiar situation for the red team. Despite how well they played in a lot of the series where we've seen them today, they're currently sitting in the standings very much towards the end of, towards the bottom, with a single victory and 3 losses. This is their last match in the round robin phase. And if they win it, they still have a chance to advance. Depends a little bit on the remaining results of the series that are still to be played. But if they lose it, they are definitely out. So this is a bit of a moment of truth here. Either you are stepping up and you're winning, or you just kiss the tournament goodbye and sign up for the next one. With Hanzo banned out now, so clearly targeting all of the heroes that Nano usually plays, or at least some of the heroes. They ban out Nano's Chromie, they ban out Nano's Hanzo, and he then responds by picking up Li Ming to look for resets and a bit of extra damage there. Whereas over on the left side now, what are we going to get for the blue team? We get Blaze and we have Sylvanas. Okay. So, yeah. Sylvanas taken this time by them. I mean, this time, of course, you are playing around the Immortal. You're going to try and use the Immortal to push as much as you can and see if you can snowball the game a little bit. Maybe get that early talent advantage and then use that during the team fights. But right now, I'm still very curious how the red team is planning to take this back. We get Lucio and we get Dehaka. Question, of course, then also what Gia is going to take here, as he just joined in for the team. And what Ultralis is going to take. Because at the end of the day, he's always, or most of the time, the one that picks very late and most of the time last. trying to react to whatever the opponent does and also make himself a little bit less predictable so that he can have the maximum impact. We've seen him a lot on Genji and other heroes like this in the past. They're getting rid of Varian, maybe already an indication that we might even see a Tracer pick. Could be banned out by Team Serath if they want to. Since there's no healer picked yet on the side of Team Lopaka, they technically could also go into Anduin plus Genji, Anduin plus Tracer, and try and get an engage with those two. So, lots of options for them. And Ubura gets banned out, okay. Clearly we're getting a Cho'Gall pick. It's the only explanation. You ban an Uberak, you want to avoid Cocoon, clearly it's going to be a Cho'Gall pick here. That would be fun, by the way. But yeah, not so much. But let's see if we're going to get Anduin, if it's going to be a light bomb combo that we're getting from them. And the answer is no. We get Malfurion again, who's obviously very high up in the standings, and we get Thrall. So we are looking at a triple front line. Potentially even with Trash Lightning. But what exactly is Team Serath now going to pick? They have with Li Ming already some damage against the Immortal, of course. So we're having still Masquerade looking for a tank that he can properly pair off with what they have used so far. And, well, we're getting Muradin and Greymane. So Greymane is back. We have him again for extra damage against the Immortal. And Muradin into Muradin Stormbolt into a lick from the Haka, for example. And now, of course, the question: what exactly Play is going to use here? Played Jojo on the last map with Divine Fortress on level 1. Helped them win, but he definitely was taken out a few times, but still was benefiting from that Gambit talent. And now the final choice, LILI. Okay, in the new LILI patch, this is the first time that we actually see her played. That gives us a main tank. That's a main tank LILI? What? Okay, this is gonna get good. Ladies and gentlemen, not sure what to say here, but we're going to game number 2, Battlefield of Eternity. So I guess we're getting a LILI main tank over here. The tank player for the blue team has chosen the cute little panda with Eager Adventurer on level 1. So we'll see what exactly happens here. We have Lopaka on Sylvanas, Hireth on Blaze, Death Knight with Malfurion, and Ultralisk is playing Rolling Thunder with Thrall on level 1. Oh, on the right side, Team Serath in dire need of a victory with Nano on Li Ming, Gia on Greymane. We got Serath himself on the Haka for the side lane. Tachessa is playing Lucio, and we get Masquerade with the Dwarf block on level 1. Now again, LILI got a little bit changed and got some severe buffs in the recent patch. A lot more healing power for her now. Has literally not been played, at least in a competitive environment, ever since that happened. So we'll see if this is actually going to have some success here. This is the first time that I've now seen her since the patch dropped. Most of the changes, honestly, for most of the heroes that were touched by it, weren't really that impressive. We have seen Alarak, I believe, twice. If memory serves, then Alarak, I think, has a 50% win rate. Played twice, won a game, lost a game. But LILI now for the first time here, ever since all of that kicked in. So we'll see what they can do with it. The only thing that is honestly a little bit surprised... well, so much for that. Okay, so, yeah. LILI joins and then immediately dies, and that's her gone. She's only there as a distraction. Just runs around, throws a tantrum, and then is doing her thing. That was my impression of the LILI ult, by the way. I'm gonna do it again later. Some people might know what I'm talking about, some might not, but yeah. LILI immediately gone. So, yeah. The only surprising thing really with the pick is that we have her apparently replacing a tank with the triple front line, so I guess part of the reason... Oh, play! And she dies again. Yeah, LILI is a fantastic hero apparently. So, that's now 2 kills for LILI, and Li Ming is getting destroyed at the top lane, so at least that lane works for the blue team. Hireth is able to get a kill there. But I gotta say that this was a bit on the wild side. Because LILI dying 2 times in quick succession, a bit memey if you ask me. I mean, she draws the aggro of the other team, so if that was the purpose of picking her, then I mean, like, applaud you, because it's clearly working. If the goal was a different one, though, then we'll have to argue about this a little bit. On level 4, we're now also getting the safety sprint. So LILI again starting things off with the eager adventurer over here, and then moving into safety sprint next. Bit more survivability for her, as we also get Thrall with his level 4 quest. We're gonna try to lock that in. So right now Stormbolt misses. Okay. And let's see who is taking the first Immortal. Technically speaking, the best firepower against... Oh, not again. Play! And this time she survived. But she is a very big target for them, apparently. I'm not quite sure what LILI did, if she insulted Muradin's mother or something, but they are on her every single time that she pops her head up. So, yeah, every time they have an opportunity, they're starting to make a move here. The blinds are coming, of course, out. Muradin, low, jumps away, is able to escape, but the fight isn't over yet. And they're still moving into this with 4 stacks now on Thrall, so he's doing really well on the progress. Might be able to get a little bit more here. Thrall with another opportunity to go for Dehaka. There's the root, another wolf, and the end of the side laner for the red team, as Thrall is now 1 single stack away from completing his level 4 quest. So more action is already coming as they're making a play for the bottom wall with the help of Sylvanas. They're able to take this out easily. In comes the move for Greymane, and he is gone too. Damn, Team Lopaka getting aggressive over here. Being carried hard in these fights by LILI, obviously, who's the only reason why they're able to take any of these battles. But yeah, there comes the drag against Blaze. A bit low. Can he get out? Muradin is jumping in. Jet propulsion. Stun nearly into an Immortal stun follow-up. That would have been the dream right there. But the fact alone that Blaze is able to survive this is already huge. So everybody has to hearth back to get some mana, get some hit points. The halftime show victory secured by the red team. So far, pretty decent. And, well, with that now, we have level 7 kicking in. That gives us for LILI also the Mass Vortex. And it's a pretty big shield on Immortal number 1 that we're now getting for Team Xerath. Now, this is the first objective, so they're going to be fine. You can still defend this, but you will take damage, and you might even lose your fort, depending on how things go. But we'll see after level 10 how the whole dynamic changes, and also with the next objective, of course, which is going to make a pretty big impact, I'd say. Calamity build for Li Ming, as usual. Sometimes on this map you're getting more of a ranged focus with even glass cannon, but going for the combat build here, that is still played in 90% of the cases. Big attack against that wall. Shield is currently being worked down slowly. They go for Muradin, a bit of extra damage here, as Greymane is shooting away. The wall already gone. The shield of the Immortal has also disappeared. They're pushing back. Masquerade, nice. LILI with a bit of work done. So far so good, but the heals from Lucio are still helping them to push this lane even further, but I don't think that they can get the fort. So the defense really strong for the blue team as they're starting to re-engage again. Clay is finding his rhythm with LILI a bit more at this point. Has so far done 11,000 damage, which is actually not too bad if you compare him now to Sylvanas and to Thrall, for example. Getting those blinds out too. And to be honest with you, the blinds themselves, they are kind of helpful when you're trying to slow the opponent down on the Immortal, particularly when they are playing a hero like Greymane for lots of their Immortal damage. So that's something that we are definitely going to see at some point. We have now 15,000 damage for Sylvanas, which puts her in the driver's seat in the damage output. Li Ming is a close second, touching on those numbers as we speak. They go for Muradin. The full CC train gets unleashed. Nice. Wolf, root, and a stun. And now they're pushing this way past the fort. At the top, we still have Dehaka. Another jet propulsion. The follow-up from Alfurion. And Death Knight helps them to take out Greymane. There's also... quick attempt to get a kill on Nano. Nicely done by Thrall, but Ultralis is not able to get the full connect. Use this Sundering here. So the fort is destroyed. Blaze is now moving towards the top to pick up all of the experience globes here and safeguard the fort. But that's a very, very nice and comfortable situation for Team Lopaka now. Not only ahead in the series, but also ahead in the game. with LILI making a play for the jug of 1,000 cups. Malfurion technically could still go into the Twilight Dream, and does! Twilight Dream for Malfurion. So with LILI being at his side, he decided to not go for heals, but try and use that more for the team fights. We'll see how that works out for them. Li Ming on the way up towards the top. It's a 5 versus 4 for now. Blue team looking for opportunities. Isolation on the Haka. Lopaka down. LILI again running around, throwing her little tantrum. Jugs everywhere. And is starting to heal up everybody, but they're not able to get kills. Just watch LILI whenever she uses her ult. Throws her head back, runs around in a circle, and just jabbers along. Clearly throwing a massive hissy fit. That's just what it is. But as is, the Immortal is back up. 5 kills to 3. Sylvanas is back to business and now on her way. As Play is trying to blind them out a bit. But they're taking big damage here already. So, yeah. Really, the Tong missing. As they're moving in once more. Here comes the Vortex. Thundering the Wolf, and Lucio is gone. Lucio is able to, well, Thrall is able to kill Lucio. The problem is really that they're still losing the objective. So this is a theme that we've now seen a few times. That with 6 kills to 3, they're looking pretty alright on the kill count. But they are starting to lose the objective. Now, early on, this doesn't matter all that much, particularly because they're always counterplaying this with pushes thanks to Sylvanas. And those really pay off. Not only do they kill the Haka here, but they might be able to also take the fort out at the top. So even if they lose the objective and the Immortal takes a fort, that's still fine. They are counterplaying this on structures over and over again. And the leading experience is of course quite comfortable for them now. Jet Propulsion, double connect! Nice! They can't get a kill on Lucio, but they were so close. And it's always the blue team that is making the moves right now. So they're really setting the pace of the game. For them, great. They now have to properly defend, and of course there is still the little fact of this being 100% shield or Immortal. They will likely lose the fort at the top. The question is just simply if they're going to lose more than that. So it's more of an even trade here. They give the objective up, they take a fort out on the other side, and that works quite well for them. So the top side is going to fall. Red team is collapsing onto the bottom of the map and is trying to take this one out too, and they will walk away with both of them. So, job well done. Nice coordination on the side of Team Seth. So, Hirath, you little beast! The side lane move as he flanks in on Muradin and gets the kill. Now they're chasing. They got Li Ming already. The rest of the team is propelled back as they're escaping. But this puts the blue team into the perfect spot to go, maybe even for a keep, as they're starting to take this wall out. And they go for Greymane and take Gia down. Beautiful aggression from Team Lopaka. I mean, you really got to give it to them. They are murdering this. Sylvanas gets attacked and saved a second later. Muradin is back to business. They're trying to escape here, but they still have a chance to get some more damage onto that keep, which is indeed what they're pulling off. LILI, a little bit trapped, has to go into the bunker and moves back out, but Li Ming is back to business as well and is looking for resets. Finds one, finds two, and that's a double kill on LILI and Thrall as they're pushing this even further. The initial aggression from the blue team, fantastic, but then overstaying their welcome just a little bit. Still able to get the kill on Lucio and Li Ming. Twilight Dream from Malfurion. They still have a healer around here. With a double support, they've been able to do a lot, but they lose Sylvanas. It's an absolute bloodbath right now. Total bloodbath in the game, with Blaze falling as well. We're looking at 20 kills overall, and just a ruthless fight here. Top lane about to be defended by Malfurion. Well, mostly experience being picked up here. But we have level 14 versus 14 now, and this is just wild. I mean, absolutely wild. Just back and forth action the entire time. It's a bit reminiscent of what we've seen in game number 1, honestly. 35,000 damage for Li Ming, 30,000 for Thrall. By the way, LILI has the same amount of damage as Thrall and Sylvanas. So she is delivering there. She has the heals as well. And thus far, it's been kind of working out for them. LILI died overall 3 times. 2 of those deaths very early on in the game. A little bit of a problem that they had to deal with. But right now, I mean, I've seen worse. So on level 13, we got the Gale Force for her. And now with the next Immortal, this is where things need to shift a little bit. They can't just simply allow the opponent to get all of the Immortals in the game. So right now it's just a chase. It's a race on that. And it seems that they are going to get the halftime show here. It's actually insanely close. Blue team wins the halftime show, but damn, it's a 50-50, essentially. So 16 talents are going to close in next. And trying to get the XP up at the top and also take the mercenary camp out here. But here's already the defense set up by the blue team as they're attempting to push them back. And they get the early level 16, of course, as well, from the looks of it. So that should help. Nice push at the bottom of the map. Keep in mind that bottom keep has already been damaged. They need to stop this as the blue team is making their play for the Immortal. Yeah, the first two they could let go with counter pressure, but now they are making a move for the third objective of the map. And, well, Sylvanas in some trouble. LILI again with the big heals as level 16 is now ready for them. And Lucio dies again, and this Immortal goes to Team Lopaka. They are able to pull it off. Nicely done. Seems like LILI is still reading the talent descriptions for the level 16 talents. Hasn't chosen yet. And we're getting the Alpha Wolf with the synergy for Thrall. Went into Blessings of Yulon right there. So, the push through the top lane this time. Sylvala's already on her way. They have the lead in experience. Lucio is not back yet, but they can already start to slowly take this down. So, we'll see how far they can push this. It's 16 versus 16 talents, which gives us also Mirror Ball, and we have Lord of his pack here. But now they can start to really pressure that top lane. Lucio's back though. It's a 5 versus 5. Dehaka sitting at the side. Misses the Tong. Was going for LILI again. Play with the main tank LILI. Not able. Oh well. Wasn't shut down here. Sylvanas. They want that keep. They're going to get that keep. Can they get more? That's the question. Can they get kills? That would help them a lot. And Team Sadath is now with the back to the wall. They're in real trouble here. They need to win this. They need to win this map, they need to win this series, or they're out of the tournament. You can't go 1-4 in the round robin and expect to advance. Masquerade is low, and oh my god, gets killed by Thrall. And that's a disaster. Now the push for the back as Nano gets attacked too. The core is already slowly falling. Team Lopaka about to lock in a victory, and Team Sadath loses their final best of 3 match in the round robin. They are 1-4 now as Team Lopaka locks in the victory. GG and well played.